All right, and we're recording, and this is a not live BS Busters. Um, Basically, we're just this is a
Podcast.
short little hour long podcast. We're not going to go too long. It's random. We're just talking about video games, and Thanksgiving. So, who wants to go first? Any game that they've been playing? uh,
I,
that they want to,
I got a
expound
topic
upon.
that a topic that we could at least use for
Well,
a
I
bit.
do want to. Well, I do want to talk about this long lost F-Zero novel that recently popped up online.
It wasn't really lost. It was just Nintendo kind of just stopped pushing F Zero after a certain point. Because I mean I knew about that manga. I knew about the Star Fox manga before they mentioned it. I knew about the Metroid manga that was in the Nintendo Powers in America and Japan that was actually told like a really awesome story that expanded the universe. Like I knew about that stuff. They just but go
Well, it's
ahead.
a it's a novel that came out back in January 1992.
Oh yeah, yeah, I knew about that. It was in Japanese, but I knew about it. I mean, like this shit isn't really like new news. It's just it was old news that people resurrected. But it looks cool. It looks awesome. I mean, if only Nintendo would actually localize it and bring it over, or get someone to localize it and bring it over. Maybe they could. Wouldn't it be cool if they did like a F Zero collection, if you will, of 4 games? The original F Zero, F Zero for the N64, F Zero GX, and maybe like a up-res remaster of the F Zero for the Game Boy Advance, and included that manga with it.
That would be an interesting thing, especially for people that are oh. But then again, there's people that are starved.
I gotta say, the art style for this visual novel is weird because it's difficult to tell who is Captain Falcon, who is Samurai Goro. Basically the original 4 drivers.
Yeah. Um. eh, Still looks cool.
Like, I don't even know if the guy in the cover is supposed to be Captain Falcon because
I don't think he's supposed to be Captain Falcon either. But what do I know? I'm just some guy.
I was gonna say that depends on the art designer of whoever made it. So
The thing is, it was never localized, so we don't know who that is. It could be Captain
yeah,
Falcon because initially we didn't know what Captain Falcon looked like. All you saw was his head in the game. Um, it
unless there's some
through the windshield, through the back windshield. So
yeah,
you didn't know what the hell he looked like. So who knows?
and if
didn't we know
later,
how he
so we're
looked
going to
like
be
in
in
the
the dark for
instruction
life.
manual?
What?
Didn't we know how he looked like in the instruction manual?
Uh, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I don't know. I'm not. I don't remember because when I got F Zero, I got it loose. I didn't have the manual, so I didn't know what he looked like.
As I was saying, that until we get a translator, we're probably going to be left in the dark for life.
Yeah, we might have to go back to what we had back in the day. Like what people don't realize is that back in the day, if you were into manga, you were basically just shit out of luck when it came to localization. Like if it wasn't badly translated,
Or censored.
if it wasn't badly translated or shit or censored in such a way that it made no goddamn sense.
Boy, that's rare.
Yeah, so that's just me. That's just me. But yeah, yeah, I'm glad that this is being brought to people's attention yet again. Joel, you had something you want to talk about?
Well, I was going to bring up a topic that probably to think about. The revival of arcades. Would you hope someday? Yes, no, maybe so.
I'm of two minds about it. I think that arcades don't need. I don't think arcades need to be brought back the way they were back in the 70s or the 80s. Like back to the old age.
I was thinking that in general because if anything, I mean, there can be some work done to revive arcades to bring them up to the future. I mean, the present. I was thinking in general.
Well, yeah, in general, I do think arcades could be brought back, and I think they should be brought back. But arcades need to like, how like console games, every generation they're forced to like almost every generation from up to like the sixth gen, you saw a different genre kind of come to the forefront of each console generation. Whereas with arcade games, like that really didn't happen. You just got prettier graphics and that was it. They really didn't get more complex or go more in depth. It was just, okay, that's cool. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I think what needs to happen with arcade games coming back in a viable way, they need to offer an experience that you cannot get on a home console. And right now, the way it is, unfortunately, for arcade games is that like no matter how gorgeous an arcade game is, you can bring that over to the home console, no problem, with very little degradation. And in some cases, I mean, even during the fourth gen, there were games that were ported over to the home console where it wasn't a 1-1 port, but the general spirit of the game was there from the arcade. And in some cases, the home version was better than the arcade version. So
I was gonna say Killer Instinct.
No, Killer Instinct's home
Would it
version.
need a gimmick? Would it be a gimmick that wouldn't be implemented from a home console like a moving theater? Like whenever every time you're moving you're playing a on rail shooter, your seat moves symmetrically. What's going on?
That'd be cool. I mean, like basically, I'm just saying that if arcades are gonna come back, they need to do things that are different. Like, okay, like I own 3 barcades, okay, and like one of them, I had to basically revamp a lot of the games that were in there because people were getting tired. Like it was my first one, and people get tired of Street Fighter 2 and its numerous iterations, and Galaga and Space Invaders and Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man and Pac Jr. and Donkey Kong Jr. Like after a while, it's like they're old standards, but they get old. Like and people you want something that you could only get from an arcade. So that's why beat 'em ups really kind of are better in an arcade setting. Like the Simpsons arcade, really awesome in an arcade machine. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Turtles in Time. Those are really good arcade machines because you really can't.
Funny enough, you said that because I saw that in Walmart, a knockoff version, but.
Yeah, the arcade machine. But I mean, like the original stand thing, like you can't. That experience of sitting with your friends on this massive screen, beating the shit out of foot soldiers as your favorite turtle. It's really hard. You can't replicate that on a home console. You can try, but it hasn't been done. I mean, there was that shitty Ubisoft port of Turtles in Time, but we won't talk about that.
Please don't.
That really, really bad port of Turtles in Time. Some people are like, no, it wasn't that bad. Come on, man. I remember playing Turtles in Time, like on the arcade and on the...
I played it in New York City Arcade, and on the SNES, and both of them were pretty great.
Yeah. The SNES had like I think 2 levels that the home that the arcade version didn't have, but either way, that game it's like. I mean, people just don't understand just how big the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were in the late 80s, early 90s. I mean, it was big.
I mean, when you reach arcade cabinet status, that's something.
Yeah. And, Like if you went to a pizzeria and they didn't have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or the Simpsons arcade, or like Turtles in Time, it just didn't feel like a pizzeria. Like there were 3 Pizza Huts near where I lived when I was a little kid, and we used to go there because Pizza Hut used to have, yeah, they delivered, but they also had a place where you could sit down and eat your pizza, like a standard restaurant. And
Yeah, I mean that may be a faint thing right now, but back then it was great.
yeah, your parents would give you like $1 in quarters if you were lucky. Normally, it'd be like a quarter. Like go play some games while the pizza and the pizza would be like 10-15 minutes. And you'd play video games for 10-15 minutes. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for me, and it was enjoyable. It was fun beating the shit out of the Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady and Baxter Stockman and Krang, the Renegade Brain for Dimension X.
Yeah, even though sometimes they up the difficulty to really
Yeah, they wanted that money. They wanted that
through
cash.
2 levels before you get your tail slammed by those bosses.
Yeah, the first
Or
level,
the minions.
The first level would be easy, and then they would start making it harder with more difficult bosses. So yeah, TMNT, great arcade. So yeah, I think arcades could come back, but they would have to do something that you just could not get from a home console environment. Would this be VR or AR? I don't know. Or even a combination of augmented reality and a traditional video game that could work too. Like it like just having a stand-up screen or a table screen, a table arcade game like the original Tetris. Like, that's why I'm of 2 minds of it. I'm not like one way or the other. Pinky, you have any thoughts on the arcade?
I did mention movie theaters.
Hey, that'd be cool. That would be cool. Maybe. I don't know.
Because I remember because I remember some Chuck E. Cheese restaurants I've been to that had a few arcade games that had movie theaters.
All right. So with that being said, anything else you guys want to bring up before I go into my topic?
Well, I think I'm at least glad to know that there's some hope for arcades. I mean, if anything, it'll help some social intellect back into some people's heads. But yeah, I think that the arcades need to try to amp it up in a different way to. So, yeah. Wait, Red.
You have to repeat it. You were going in and out.
I hate it when that happens. I was just agreeing that the arcades need to how they used to be in the past in order to be playable today.
Yeah, I don't really think because the big thing about arcades were back in the day was that those games could not be ported over to the home console market. That was the big thing. And when they were, the port was crap. So if you had a halfway decent port, it was like a big deal. But I mean, once you began to hit the 4th and 5th gen, you were seeing beginning to see almost like 1 to 0.8 ports of the arcade, and plus the games had variable difficulty and were better laid out for the home market. And then once you got to the 6th gen, you were seeing 1-to-1 ports, and it's like, well, hell, I don't need to go to an arcade and spend $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 in
I was gonna say
tokens.
Yeah, because why spend multiple coins for a game that you're probably gonna fuck you get to a certain point when you can just buy the whole game and play it forever.
Yeah, yeah, and plus, I mean, people forget just how short arcade games were because, like, I've like normally when I get a new arcade machine, before I put it on the floor, put it into the barcade, I test it out, put it on free play, and I play through it. And I can tell you right now, a lot of arcade games you can beat. Like they might have a play time of maybe 20, 30 minutes. Like 30 minutes is on the long part. Normally, like if you want to beat the entire game, you're looking at
It's about 20 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's about 20 to 15. Like Final Fight is an anomaly because Final Fight is like a 35, 40-minute game. The arcade version. Starting in the slums, going to the subway, going to the industrial,
heading to the bar,
going to the industrial area, then the bar, then to the Bayside, then to Uptown. That's 6 areas.
Yeah.
And you have to go through all of that. And each area you're looking at, maybe if you know what you're doing, you can beat them in like 5 minutes. But if you're dicking around a little bit, it's like 6 or 7. So, I mean, on the short end, you can beat it maybe 26, 27 minutes. On the long end, 34, 35. So,
I was going to so shorter or longer if you have a partner with you, but
yeah,
that's pushing
it. Well, if you have a partner, more enemies spawn, so it actually takes longer. If you're single playering it, it's really like on the longer end, it's like a 30-minute game, or give or take a few minutes. But I mean, that's the exception, because if you're playing and those are like, that was unique because that was an arcade game that had an ending. A lot of the arcade games before the age of arcade games that had stories and plots and endings, they just looped over and over again. So there was no end, there was no beating it. It just would get harder and go to the next thing. Like Donkey Kong, you beat those 4 levels. There you go again. Harder this time though. So I guess we can move on to the next topic, my topic, which is EA and Fallen Order.
EA. My words to eat.
So here's my thing, okay? Is it deliciously ironic that the one type of Star Wars game that they just did not want to make, like ever, they were like, we will not make a single player Star Wars game. We're gonna nickel and dime the shit out of this with microtransactions, or just make crappy games. Like, isn't it ironic that the one type of EA game that the one type of Star Wars game that EA didn't want to make is the highest selling EA game? I mean, doesn't that irony taste delicious?
I consider it the funniest where we'll get, because they thought they had the last laugh, that multiplayer is going to be the only thing that sells with them, and what happens? Kind of like how that one scumbag was forced to go to a certain event, and well, he finds out that it was.
Or maybe we could say it like this. I mean, it's hilarious that it's hilarious to me. It's hilarious to me that sadly that they well, it's not really sad. It's hilarious that they tried so hard to not make a Star Wars game that people wanted. Because this game is like a throwback to the way Star Wars games used to be back in the day. You know what I mean?
Like back in the NES days of single.
No, I would say during the glory days of LucasArts, like the SNES, N64, PC, where like you had like a single player game, Didn't have a lot of bullshit. It was set in the Star Wars universe, and each of them had their own genre. Like you had Star Wars Empire at War, which was basically Galaxy at War, which is basically a strategy game where you could choose to play as the rebels, you could play as the Empire, and you had units, and it was like a strategy game. You had the flight sim games, which were like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, or X-Wing or TIE Fighter. You know what I mean? Then you had your kart racer game, like your pod racer, which I never liked that game. I'm sorry if you like pod racer, God bless you, but pod racer is not a good game. Or Rogue Squadron, or Rogue Squadron 2, or Rogue Squadron 3, which were more arcadey flight simulators. Like you had something for everybody. And yet EA refused to make those games. I mean, imagine how much a single player Knights of the Old Republic would have done if EA had let BioWare make one.
And
Although,
yet
considering how BioWare is these days, I mean, I wouldn't really...
probably for the best that they didn't get a chance to make one.
Okay, I take that back. What if they farmed out a Knights of the Old Republic game to Obsidian?
Wait, they really did that?
No, what if they did? I mean, that'd probably be better. Well, Knights of the Old Republic 2 was made by Obsidian, so
Oh.
it would make.
Okay.
I mean, even though the game was kind of broken, they had a year to take the engine that they used to make the first Knights of the Old Republic and make a new game. And if you go and get that game on PC and download the content that was cut so that they could meet their deadline, it's a much better game. So you could see Obsidian was working on some stuff that made it better than the original Knights of the Old Republic. Because Knights of the Old Republic was very black and white with the choices you can make. It's like, this choice is a dark side choice. This choice is a light side choice. It was very like cut and dry. Whereas well, the one Knights of the Old Republic 2 had very gray shades of gray. It was like you'd have some stuff go down. And it's like, oh well, shit. This doesn't. Oh man, this. I can't agree with this. Like sometimes you think you were thinking you were doing a good thing, but it turned out to be a dark side choice because you were making things too easy for people. And the moral choices that you had to make were much more, it's like, well, none of these choices are good. I have to do the best one that helps the most people. That type of thing.
Yeah. It's those kind of choices that kind of bite some way.
I love that stuff. I love games that force you to actually, RPGs that force you to make deep choices that, like, it's like, well, all these choices suck. It's like, which one sucks the least? It's like, well, shit, I gotta, like Obsidian still does that. Like, you play the Outer Worlds. There's a choice you make in the beginning area of the game where if you have to save, you have to get a power source for your ship, and you have the choice of destroying one town or another town. And either way, like, there's no way to get to make the best option for both of them. One of them is gonna have to live. One of them is gonna have to die. And some people are not gonna be happy. It's like, damn, really, for real, bruh, for real. I love stuff like that in RPGs. That's some D&D shit right there.
Yeah, that is some D&D decision making.
Pardon me. What is it? Okay. Oh God. Okay. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, Star Wars, one of my favorite titles. And it's I mean, like I said, it's ironic that it's really ironic that the one type of Star Wars game that EA swore they wouldn't make because of money is the one that sold the most and made the most money thus far. That's which just shows that Andrew Wilson and his business model is not good for certain types of games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe, just maybe, listen, okay, look. I know some people will make the argument that, well, you're just a small business owner. But here's the thing. Small business versus big business, a lot of the underlying principles for both types of business is the same. Okay, like sometimes. So here's the thing: if I do something in my business and I'm fucking up because I only have 3 locations I have to worry about, it's much easier for me to say stop doing that. It's fucking up the business. Than
Hey guys, what's up?
How's it going, Kenoshi? How was your
Doing
Thanksgiving?
pretty good. Pretty good. How was yours?
It was
How's
great.
your D&D night?
I was gonna get into that as the second topic at the half-hour mark.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a great adventure.
Oh.
Yeah, but we were talking about how Fallen Order, which I'll be honest with you, I'm not gonna buy the game because it's published by EA, and to hell with EA. But I heard I'm glad that it's for people who bought it. I'm glad they bought it. I'm glad that EA is getting the message that people don't want this microtransaction BS in their Star Wars games. They just want a good Star Wars game. Like it.
Yeah.
Lily, come here. You're gonna eat. Come on.
But that's just me. So I guess we can move on to the second topic that I was going to bring up, which is my D&D match. Oh, not match. So as
D&D campaign.
Yeah, D&D campaign.
That would be the...
Yeah, so my friends came over around 12 Thursday for Thanksgiving. These are all people who, for various reasons, didn't really particularly go to see their family. So they came to my house, and they brought all types of little finger foods and stuff like that. And I asked them, do you want a traditional Thanksgiving meal? Because I've got a lot of food here. And, some people said they wanted, so I had to heat up some stuff. But by and large, I didn't really have to do a lot. And we played a custom campaign where we had to break into a jail in order to get a guy out. And it was a fun campaign. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully not full of natural ones.
No one died. We were doing it with pretty high level characters. I think the lowest level person in the party was a level 12. So
Okay, I was just ones as in somebody fumbled so badly it hurts.
no, we had no
was
critical misses.
Who was the highest level player?
It was our mathemagician who was a level 15. Yeah, the mathemagician is an interesting class because they can metagame the game. Like the mathemagician, like the luck mage, can basically augment their role. So, like they can do stuff like they cast a magic spell that can a mathemagician can cast a magic spell that if they do a critical miss, they can re-roll it like multiple times. Like they can cast spells that don't actually do stuff in combat, but instead like in the on the metagame scale of it. They can transfer. They can buff stats. Like they can let's say you have a wizard and their most important stat for a wizard is wisdom and intellect. They can buff the intellect of a wizard to the point where it's insanely high for one battle. Like they can multiply it for one attack. So a wizard can then cast a fireball spell that does like hundreds of points of damage. Like that type of stuff. It's insane. Yeah. Yeah. The Mathemagician, great class. Totally breaks the game though.
Great class, but they are total beeps to the D.
I mean, aren't mages always OP in RPGs because of their
because of magic? Not really.
They're usually countered by the fact that off targets.
Yeah, it's the glass cannon philosophy. It's like, well, I'm a magician and I can blow you up, but I'm also weak. D&D kind of began to try and get around that because Pathfinder came out.
I think that was around 4E.
Yeah, 4th edition, but Pathfinder beat him to the punch because Pathfinder made magicians that could actually fight and take a hit. So in some ways, Pathfinder, I still think Pathfinder in some ways is better than D&D, but because it doesn't make sense that wizards and magic users would be in this universe for thousands of years and not figure out a way to augment their weakness.
A way to, Yeah. After all, if they couldn't cover, they could probably see a sword or spear go right up their rear ends without knowing.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense just from a logical standpoint, considering that most wizards and magic users are really intelligent people, and an intelligent person would figure out, hey, sometimes my magic might fail me, and I might have to beat a fool's ass. I should learn how to fight. Like that doesn't, especially when you think about most magic users in D&D get really powerful over time and stuff like that. So, and they live a long time. So if you have 200, 300 years, like, wouldn't it make sense for you to learn how to use some type of weapon as well as your magic? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But it's D&D, and they're all into alignments and shit like that. So Kenobi.
Yeah, that's the problem I have.
Alignment.
That's the problem I have with a lot of magic-based games where it's like, oh, if you choose magic, you can't, you have to be weak. You can't, have a fail safe, for
There's
magic, because sometimes you're only given a limited pool of magic. So
yeah, and with D&D, they're like, if you go with certain magics, they're inherently evil. Like necromancy, it's inherently evil. It's like, come on, you slow your roll. First of all, it's not the magic itself that's evil; it's how you use it. The same white magic spell that might take a few days of someone's life in order to keep someone else alive for a certain amount of time so that you can find a way to cure them, could also be used by a white mage who's unscrupulous to basically take all the life force from an entire city, making themselves live an incredibly long time. It's still white magic. That doesn't make it good,
Yeah, I mean, if anything, there's even some class C, like a spell blade that actually combines the physical might of a warrior with a wizard's magic.
Yeah, that's true, but it's never quite as well executed in D&D as it is in Pathfinder. Because then there's always some type of thing where it's like, okay, well, this makes you weaker. This kind of, you take a hit on this. Whereas
yeah, I was gonna say that it depends on the magic. I mean, on the Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder system.
Yeah. I mean, Pathfinder is a lot cooler with that type of stuff to me than traditional D&D. But that's neither here nor there. So, Kenoshi, what'd you do for Thanksgiving aside from going into food coma from eating tons and tons of rich, delicious food?
I mean, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Just eating a bunch of food and just taking a nap.
Yeah. Oh man.
See, it's not the turkey or the tryptophan that makes you tired. It's because you ate too much. It's because you ate too much damn food. That's why you're tired.
What got me?
You watched that same episode too?
Yeah, I made homemade eggnog, and I gotta tell you, it's so much cheaper to make your own damn eggnog than to go to the store and spend $4.99 buying theirs. Totally.
Eggnog's a rarity down here. Yeah.
Really? All you need to make eggnog is you take 2 to 4 to 6 eggs, depending on how much eggnog you're making. You get half a gallon of milk and some heavy cream, or half and half, whatever. However, like the higher fat milk that you add to it, the heavier and thicker. And if you cook the eggnog versus having raw eggnog, I did a hybridization between raw and cooked eggnog. What I did was I took the eggs, I put them in my high capacity blender, and I whipped the eggs for about a minute, and then slowly added a little bit of sugar, and then I hit it with some eggnog. I mean, not nutmeg, and a little bit of cinnamon, and I continued to whip it until the eggs turned kind of yellow, like ribbony yellow, and then I slowly, and then I heated the milk in the microwave till it was like not quite scalding but really, really warm, and I slowly drizzled it in and hit it with some bourbon, and then put it in my big jug, my big pitcher, and put it in my refrigerator overnight. So the next day, my friends, we were playing an awesome campaign. We had to break into a high-level prison where they kept very, very bad people while getting totally tore up on eggnog, and it was delicious. Homemade eggnog, totally worth it.
No, you know, if I had one magic power, it'd just be being able to make everything yourself. Like everything. I'm talking about everything. Being able to build your own house, being able to build your own car.
Well, that's a little bit too far for me. That's a little bit too far for me. But building your own, making your own eggnog. Like there's some things where it's just not, or it's not worth it to do it yourself. Like, building your own car. No.
Things you don't want to do yourself.
Yeah. No, I can't do that. But other stuff, it's like, yeah, it makes sense to do that. So.
Yeah.
Like some things it makes sense. But yeah, man. This Thanksgiving was pretty fun. The girlfriend was out. My other friends were out, so it was just me. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay.
So I broke down and got Game Pass. And
awesome, isn't it?
Started playing Crackdown 3, which isn't a bad game. And then
it was okay.
Not as bad as people. Yeah, not as bad as people were. You know, I mean, if you haven't played a Crackdown game and you were going into this game thinking it was going to be something more, I don't know what to tell you.
You're SOL. Yeah. Like here's the thing, okay? What they promised, like they were like, man, this is gonna use the power of the cloud and all that shit. Okay, look.
Oh.
That ain't happening. Okay, this is not using the power of the cloud to do shit.
I was gonna say we could rail on state hours with how much fail they done.
Yeah, it's not using the power of the cloud to do anything that could not have been done on other consoles. But if you're looking for just a nice little kind of sandbox style game where you jump around doing cool stuff, then yeah, it's perfect.
I'd say iffy because the lag timing and if you're in a high risk, that lag could be your bullet to the head.
I mean, it's not perfect. It's just, for what it is, it's pretty good. For what it is, it's pretty good. Not great, pretty good.
Yeah.
But that's just me. That's what I discovered when I was playing it. I know other people will have different feelings because everyone has their opinions. But here's my question. Have you played The Outer World yet?
I haven't played it yet, but I downloaded it, and I just wanted to see how well my computer would run. I started up this morning and see how my computer ran the game, so it runs it pretty well. So now I'm definitely gonna try it, check that game out because I've heard a lot of good things about it. So.
Yeah, it's good. It's basically a Fallout game without having to deal with Bethesda's BS. So. It's already got a plus in my book.
I also picked up Red Dead Redemption 2. It was on sale, mainly as a benchmarking tool, and other people I know are playing it online. And
all right.
I've heard decent things about the story. I guess. With PC gaming, there's trainers and cheats and whatnot, so maybe I can
just don't go online. Just don't go online and use those cheats because they might try to do something to you.
I definitely won't do that.
Yeah.
But for the story mode, for some of the survival stuff, I might have to cheat a little bit.
Yeah, like my friend was like, "Hey man, you should get that game." I was like, I can't, because I played the second Red Dead Redemption, and it just, that game just, I can't get into it. Anybody getting the game, or thinking about getting the game, use the
use the Vulkan API. It's so much more functional than the DirectX 12. DirectX 12, at least for me, runs like complete ass. So
Yeah.
Vulkan runs perfectly. So I just recommend using the Vulkan API. But I guess
Well, that's
there are
okay.
also people that.
That's okay because I wasn't planning on getting it.
Anybody in the audience, anybody who listens, anybody else who's listening.
All right. So yeah. So we got another 20 minutes till the end of the podcast, and everyone else brought a topic, but you didn't. So anything you want to bring up to talk about aside from Xbox
Turkey
Game
stuffing?
Pass? Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like I need to learn to wait more for. Well, I don't buy a lot of the big third-party games when they first come out anyway. But I don't know. Has anybody found anything interesting on the Steam sale? Caught their attention?
I mean, you can get SteamWorld Heist for $4.50. Normally costs Guacamelee 2 is $3.99. Normally it's $20. I mean, there's some good sales. Look, Steam sales are always kind of good, especially this time of year. But if you can hold out and wait until Christmas, you get even some better deals. And a lot of these sales are going to be there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about Black Friday. Black Friday just kind of extends itself throughout the holiday season, especially online.
Yeah, you can get Star Wars: The Complete Saga, which is episodes 1 through 6, or as I like to call it, episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Because I'm old, and that's the way I learned it.
You're going to do the Star Wars trilogy joke.
Yeah. The good news is that it doesn't have that one Lego game they did for The Force Awakens, because no one gives a shit about that game. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't heard anyone talk about that game. Like, they released it and no one was like, whatever.
I was going to say, the Star Wars Lego games of the newest Wars come out good, or boy.
I mean, aside from Fallen Order, I've heard the rest of them were kind of like, I heard Battlefront was meh. I heard Battlefront 2 was meh. Like,
I was saying the Lego ones because
no, the Lego ones are good. I mean, I think the original Lego trilogy was better, just because a lot of the things that they do in it are done better, if you will. Some of the levels that they do, especially the vehicle levels, are done better originally, and then they revamped them to make them easier for young kids. But the way I feel about it is, like, why are we always trying to make games easier for little kids? You know?
Yeah, that's a rant that I could get into if you need me to fill up time.
Well, I mean, because when I was a little kid, like, they didn't make stuff easier for me when I was a little kid. Like, I either had to get good or I'd get frustrated and stop playing. You know?
I was going to say, kids today have access to technology that we haven't had when they are able to process things at times too. So why do we dumb down games for kids?
Well, I don't know, but I'll tell you this much, though. I'm tired of people dumbing down my favorite games for kids. I mean, that's one of the things, this is a nice segue, that kind of made me angry about the Paper Mario franchise, is that, like, the first Paper Mario is good. It's not great, it's pretty good. The second Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, much better. Because it basically takes everything that the first one did and goes further with it in a way that, kind of makes sense.
Yes.
And then they do Super Paper Mario, which is
a platformer that was once an RPG.
Well, I mean, I don't even consider that part of the franchise. I consider it to be a spinoff, because that's more or less what it is. It's just a spinoff. But then you go to Sticker Star, which is just yeah. Sticker Star is like, you don't want to think hard about how to play a Paper Mario game. This is Paper Mario for dumbasses. That's
Well,
sticker
even
stuff.
then,
Yeah.
even then, there are some puzzles that are frustratingly difficult to figure it out if you read a guide.
Eh,
Yeah.
I mean, not for me.
I need
but-
water.
Yeah, not for me, but I mean, I can understand some people finding because some of those stickers like that you had to use in order to defeat certain enemies because they got rid of time to attacks and like dodge abilities. Instead, you had to use certain type of special stickers in order to do certain things. So I could understand why some of that would be kind of difficult, but overall, Sticker Star was just bad, in my humble opinion. But then we go from there to
I needed
Color
that to wash
Splash.
my mouth out.
yeah, Color Splash, which is just
Red, I'm going to stop you right there because compared to Sticker Star, Color Splash was a breath of fresh air.
that is true. That is true. Compared to Sticker Star, Color Splash was a breath of fresh air. But here's the problem.
I mean, if anything, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. You're not.
but here's
Compared to other Paper Marios, it's not one of the better ones. I'm going to admit that.
No, but I mean, here's the thing though. Color Splash was like, I mean, Sticker Star was like someone came into your house and kicked you in the crotch. Color Splash was like that same person came in your house, instead of kicking you in the crotch, just slapped you in the face. It's like, okay, at least you didn't kick me in the crotch this time. But
I was going to say, if anything, it's not the best. I say that it's not the best of the Paper Mario series. It's probably near the middle or next to Mario. But if anything, I'd say I would take this over Sticker Star any day of the week.
yeah, I would say it's number 4. I mean, it's number 3. Number 1 being Thousand Year Door, number 2 being Paper Mario 64, number 3 being Color Splash, number 4 at the bottom being Sticker Star. But basically, the reason I'm talking about that is that recently on PC for $20, you too can play a Paper Mario game.
That is full of bugs.
But in a good way. It's called A Bug Fable, The Everlasting Sapling, and it's basically made by people who love the first 2 Paper Mario games. It's basically, it's Paper Mario for all intents and purposes. I
get that.
What's the game called?
It's called A Bug Fable.
Bug Fable.
Yeah, I've got it in the...
It's in the chat right now.
Yeah, Bug Fables, an exploration RPG full of bugs. You've got
And this is not the bad bugs, mind you, that could ruin your computer.
No, these are the characters are bugs in a paper world. And basically, the studio that made this did an Indiegogo. I know everyone's like, I hate Indiegogo. These people did an Indiegogo in 2015 for $24,000. No, they asked for $20,000. They got $24,000. And they managed to make a core Paper Mario game for under $20,000 in 4 years. Something that Nintendo's been unable to do through 3 iterations. With all of their resources. They couldn't do it. That's amazing to me. Like, how could a little indie studio make a better Paper Mario game than Intelligent Systems?
And had to bring back that live interview with one of the Platinum employees saying how people shouldn't use Kickstarter or Indiegogo to make video games based on nostalgic games they grew up with. That they should just make original video games of new gameplay concepts rather than just being clones of the games they grew up with, such as Paper Mario.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'll be busy playing.
I don't know.
I'll be busy playing a really good Paper Mario game. So yeah.
I was gonna say it depends on who's making it, but if they could do it better, then I'm with it. And Red apparently found
Yeah, it was really good. It was exceptionally good in my humble opinion. But yeah, the game has everything that you want in a Paper Mario game. It's got the it's got the time to attacks. It's got the special abilities. You unlock field abilities that let you access new areas. It's got awesome music. It's got party members, something that Paper Mario hasn't had in 2 iterations. Um, all the stuff. I mean, the only real complaint that I have about the game is that it's not quite as polished as a traditional Paper Mario game. But then again, it's an indie game, so obviously they're not going to have the level of resources that a large studio would have, and like it has a little bit too much stuff in it. Like too many gameplay systems that aren't as well integrated. Like at a certain point in the game, you get like double text and triple text where your characters can combine their special abilities to do special attacks that takes all the members of the party to do. And it's like by the time they introduce them, it's like, man, you should have introduced this earlier. But aside from that, the game is really good. And like I said, the irony of irony is that a little indie studio made this with under $20,000. So what's Intelligent Systems' excuse to why they can't make a good Paper Mario game? Like I fail to see what it's either it's not a priority, which I can understand because they're making other stuff, or you just can't do it anymore, which it could also be an issue because we haven't had a good one in years. So interesting thought. That being said, anyone else have anything else they want to bring up?
I'll just ask a quick question real quick to see about it. Are you going to go shopping for someone for the holidays? A game?
No. My girlfriend is a gamer, but most of her games she just gets herself. Like the only thing I might get for her is a new controller because like she rages when she plays video games and she's destroyed like 3 controllers. So
I was about to say, please tell me that she has destroyed the premium controllers.
no, I mean standard, but she I guess she grew up smashing controllers. She still does. So I'll probably get her a new controller, one of those heavy duty ones. No one.
Hopefully, they could endure her.
No one else in my family really plays video games except for me. So, like, I really don't. That's an expense I really don't have to incur when I get gifts for people. Like, normally when I get gifts for people, I either just give them a gift card, like $100 gift card, or I'll get them a specific thing if they ask for that specific thing. Because I'm like, I don't, like, I would rather for, like, I think last Christmas, the Christmas before last, or was it, like, a few years ago, I went to Universal Studios with the girlfriend. So, like, we did the Christmas in Universal Studios, and that was great. But, like, I would rather have an experience than just buy a video game for someone. But that's just me. I know some people would disagree.
Yeah, I was saying that if you have somebody that likes games, then it might be a good idea to buy something for them, like a new game or maybe.
Well, that could be the case.
For myself, I probably am going to try to see if I can get something for one that doesn't destroy his stuff.
Oh, really? Is this the kid who locked the computer?
No, that
Okay.
the older one that is into games at times. He's the one I was thinking of buying something for the one that broke the computer and almost got me swearing up and down the house. I was thinking of getting him just Just some
lump of coal.
stupid plot.
You give him.
I was gonna say a plush.
Give him a lump of coal. No, you should get him the kid equivalent of a lump of coal. Get him some socks. Socks. Now, when you're a kid, you hate getting socks for Christmas, but as an adult, you're like, man, I'm always losing pairs of socks. This is really good. Thanks.
I was gonna make the joke that I was gonna get him socks and cologne.
No, he's too young for cologne, but some socks, that'll fix him.
Socks with some coal in it.
Yeah, sock with some coal in it, or you could have a blanket party for him like they did in Full Metal Jacket, and have a sock with a bar of soap in it. Yeah, come here.
Oh, that's a good idea. If anything, he always leaves. If anything, he's one of the group of kids that you ever meet because is rude enough to break things, but he doesn't flush the toilet.
He doesn't flush the toilet when he does a number one. That's not good.
Number one, number two.
Oh, that reminds me of
that's wrong. Y'all need to beat his ass.
No, he doesn't need a pair of socks for Christmas. He needs a good ass whooping.
Yeah, he needs an ass whooping. Yeah. Yeah, he does that. He needs an ass whooping. Yeah, that's ass whooping time right there.
Yeah, that's one of the things I have. That's one of the things I'm planning to do for his Christmas gift.
Yeah, you know, like you should tell him that once he starts getting interested in girls, it's like, look, man, this ain't gonna fly. Because women don't like a nasty ass dude. They don't like that.
Oh.
And vice versa, men don't like a nasty woman. Ew.
Yeah, really. People just don't like people who are gross.
You know.
Yeah.
People want to, they want to bait, want people to bait and all of this.
I mean,
just flush the toilet when you go to the bathroom. There was this girl I dated in college, and she would not flush the toilet when she went to the bathroom. Like, sometimes she would forget, and I'm like,
oh,
how do you forget that?
To flush the
How do you
toilet?
forget to that's oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I think we should go for Wade.
Yeah. How do you let it go that far?
yeah.
Here's some Pokemon news that won't make anyone angry. A guy who was streaming Pokemon Blue beat the game without taking any damage.
Not one hit.
No damage. I'm like, man, I salute you, sir. I wouldn't do it, but
was it some random RNG godness?
I don't know. It was a lot of grinding with Metapod, hours of back and forth biking in the daycare with Pokemon in the daycare, meticulous calculating of stats, making use of dumb AI programming, and praying to the RNG gods for the 1 in 256 glitch not happening. I know for a fact that in Pokemon Blue, Red, aka Green and Yellow, if you throw out when you get to the 8th gym and have to fight Giovanni, if you throw out your Bulbasaur, if you have a Bulbasaur if you have to throw out a Bulbasaur against his ground type Pokemon, for some reason they will never attack it after he throws out his Persian. Like, if you take it out, none of his other Pokemon will attack. Will attack a Bulbasaur. It's weird. I don't know why, but it's an old glitch. Yeah.
That is actually so funny. I actually horrible for thinking that it was impossible.
Yeah, I was like, I can't believe this. They will not attack it, and I've tried it on all 3 games, and I'm like, wow, that is an interesting glitch. Or maybe it's just no one would think someone would just have a Bulbasaur at that part of the game, because normally you'd have, level 30, 40 Pokemon, 50. But throw out a Bulbasaur, they will not attack it. So, anything else you guys want to bring up? before we wrap things up, give our sign-offs?
Oh yes, I want to talk about Toys R Us being resurrected, as now they're just small. Now they're opening just small stores rather than large ones.
I mean, I don't really think it's Toys R Us being resurrected. I think it's more like someone bought the name and you know, someone. It's like Atari. Someone bought the name of Toys R Us and is using it to, sell stuff. But Toys R Us, as we know it, with those commercials with Jeffrey the Giraffe. I wish I was a Toys R Us kid. That Toys R Us is gone. It's dead. Doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. I was a Toys R Us kid. I think all of us here were Toys R Us kids.
But that's like saying that the old SNK is dead and that the new SNK isn't this. Even though...
In a sense, it may be.
Not really. For SNK, even though they got out of, most arcade things, they're still around. The core company's still around. They just don't make games like they used to. But Atari doesn't exist anymore. So,
yeah.
Even if they bring back, this is brought to you by Atari. Atari, as we know it, doesn't exist anymore. It's like Rare. Rare, as we knew it when we were kids, doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist anymore. So while it's nice that they're using the Toys R Us name to bring back Toys R Us in a limited capacity. I mean, the hallmark of Toys R Us was that it was this massive store that had all these toys. And when you were a little kid, it was just amazing to see all those toys.
Yeah.
It kind of loses that magic when you're looking at a little pop-up, It's like, oh, it's Toys R Us. Yeah, but the massive aisles filled with toys and toys and toys. It's just... I mean, that's the fun part of Toys R Us R Us when you were a kid, is just all those damn toys.
What are they? Just relegated to an online shop now?
You have to repeat that. I could barely hear you.
Are they just relegated to an online shop now?
No, they're actually doing how back in the day, how a lot of Disney stores will pop up around Christmas to sell Disney stuff, or those holiday stores that'll pop up to sell toys. Well, that's the same thing that Toys R Us is doing now, but it's not really Toys R Us. It's an investor group that bought the name and is now, trying to capitalize on it. Yeah. I mean, listen, if it makes you happy, that's good. I'm a little too old to actually give a shit about Toys R Us, sadly, mostly because all the Toys R Us's near me are kind of a little too old. I mean, they're not too old. It's, you know what I mean? It's it's like...
I heard they didn't really change. They didn't really update their look. I heard people when they walked into a Toys R Us, it was like stepping into 1995.
I mean, they weren't that bad. They weren't like Kmart. Kmart, you walk into Kmart and it's like, man, it's 1992 again. Bill Clinton was just elected. It's
that is true. That is true. That's how it feels when you walk into a Kmart. It's bad. It's bad.
Like Toys R Us was like, oh, it's 2003. It wasn't that bad. It's like, oh, it's 2003. That's what happened. It's 2003. But hey, listen, if it makes you happy, dude, to see Toys R Us coming back in some way, shape, or form, I'm glad you're happy.
I'm mostly happy since if it means that I can actually see if they changed, probably for the worse, but still.
Yeah, So, anything else you guys want to bring up before we wrap things up?
I'm smooth.
Kenoshi, anything you want to bring up real quick? Nothing?
Well, I have the Master Chief Edition comes out in a few days, so...
Looking forward to it?
Plus Yeah, I got Xbox Game Pass. So that's gonna be fun.
Master Chief Collection, yeah. So I guess this is Mr. Red Fox signing off with BS Busters. This is a pre-recorded cast, so you can't ask any questions. And matter of fact,
Sorry about that, but don't worry, you can catch us Wednesday.
Yeah, you can catch us Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we will resume our normally scheduled broadcasts. Wednesday, Saturday, 7:30 to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Wednesday cast is the fun cast where we talk about random fun video game topics, and the Saturday cast is our newscast. With that being said, you guys give your sign outs and we'll wrap things up.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. From the BS Busters End of the Week podcast, or mini podcast, anyways.
Yes. Kenoshi, Pinky, who wants to go?
This is Kenoshi Abominica here to say, remember to take your medication.
All right. Pinky?
This is Piggy Dog from Video Game Editorials. I recently posted a new article today, so please check that out when you visit our website. Thank you.
This is Mr. Red Fox. To get in touch with the cast via Gmail, you can reach me at mrredfoxbsbuster@gmail.com or at Twitter at Matthew Wesley at Mr. Red Fox 91. Thank you. This is a pre-recorded cast, so you cannot comment on anything. Thank you and good day.